Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on academic and career pathways in IT and business discipline. My name is Sababa Mohan, and I'm thrilled to be your host for this session. Well, in today's rapidly evolving digital world, the lines between business and IT are becoming increasingly significant, right? And we have an exciting agenda planned for you today, and our expert speakers will cover a range of topics for you today. And during the webinar, we will explore few points for example, academic preparation, extracurricular activities, and essential skills for a successful transition to higher education in IT and business, career paths, and opportunities for graduates from Monash University's IT and business programs, and access to resources and support systems within Monash University to empower Bangladeshi high school students for academic and career success. Today, we have three distinguished speakers with us for you to present their knowledge, their valuable experiences for us. We have Professor Gill, who is the first president and provost of Universal College Bangladesh, which is the first institution to be granted permission by the government of Bangladesh to offer international higher education programs and degrees. Before taking up his role at UCB, Dr. Gill had a multi-track career as a global entrepreneur, politician, and public servant, banker, media pundit, and senior academic. Professor Hugh has authored more than 100 papers, articles, chapters, and presentations. He holds qualifications from several world-class institutions, including St. Anne's College, Oxford University, the Derek Box Center, Harvard University, and Leeds University Business School. Professor Hugh is a chartered psychologist and has been elected to fellowship by the Royal Society of Medicine, the Royal Society of Arts, and the Royal Statistical Society and the Royal Asiatic Society. He has also served as a chair, governor, trustee, and lay member of professional, scholarly, and charitable organizations in the UK, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and Singapore. Such a big interaction, right? Okay, we have our second speaker, Dermott McGrath. He is the Senior Student Recruitment Coordinator for Monash University Faculty of IT. And as a former international student himself, he's aware of some of the challenges and opportunities that you might face when choosing to study in Australia. Well, he's delighted to be here today to talk about the exciting future in IT and how Monash can help you grab onto these opportunities. And the last but not the least, Amy Newman. She's the Senior Student Recruitment Coordinator at Monash Business School. She has worked at Monash University for over 10 years in student recruitment and is a Monash alumna. Amy is delighted to talk to you today about Monash Business School and the opportunities it can provide students considering studying in Australia. Okay, I think I'll start with Professor Hugh. Well, Professor Hugh, if you would like to share your experiences and probably if you have your presentations with you for us today, we would like to know about the insight of, the Department of IT and business disciplines.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Barber. I tell you what, I have put together a little presentation. What I'd like to talk to you all about is the careers of the future. So ultimately, what this is all about is you getting the best possible job that you can get and how education is the pathway for you to secure that career. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully you can see my slides now. And I'm going to talk to you about the careers of the future and hopefully maybe show you some little things that you don't yet know or understand about the way the future is changing. So what I'm going to talk about today, firstly, is to say how wonderful it is to be here with my colleagues from Monash College and Monash University. We have a very strong partnership here at Universal College Bangladesh with our friends at Monash, and it's a pleasure to be joining you students today with my friends from Monash. So I like to start with questions to get you thinking. Firstly, an obvious question. Can you see the world clearly? Do you see the way the world actually is? Do you understand this idea of Industry 4.0, how the world is changing? Industry 4.0 is the fourth industrial revolution. But what does that actually mean for you, the generation that is going to live through it? So how is life going to change? How are careers going to change? What is going to be different, and how can you prepare for success in Industry 4.0? In other words, where are the careers of the future? And more importantly, why is education so important to getting you to where you want to be? So, can you see the world clearly? A very simple question. How many legs does an elephant have? Anybody type into the chat and tell me, how many legs does an elephant have? Okay, there seems to be a bit of consensus around 4. Okay, let's see how clearly you can see the world. Here's an elephant. I'd like you to count the legs, please. 1, 2, 3, 5. If we go back the other, So even when we think we know what we're looking at, sometimes the world is different to what we actually expect. And that's what's going to be true of Industry 4.0. So what is it? Well, it's a revolution in the way, for example, that we will grow food. This is actually a picture from my previous institution in Singapore, where they're already growing crops on the roof. So farming in the cities. It's going to mean new ways of tapping energy. So we'll be tapping energy from the sea, from the sun, from the wind. It's going to mean automation. Anybody tell me what the 2 vehicles at the bottom of the screen have in common? Type in the chat. What do they have in common? Well, they both do not have a driver. So the Uber car is completely automated, and on the left, that is the white bus that goes around the island of Sentosa in Singapore and picks up tourists. All of those things are driven by robots. So increasingly, life will be done by machines, and those machines will be integrated. So this is actually a warehouse in the UK for a company called Ocado. This is a service I use. I'm British. My fridge tells Ocado when it's run out of milk or any other comestible. And the Ocado warehouse automatically picks an order, packs the order, and sends it. And a couple of years ago, for the first time, some of those orders were delivered by drone. So we're actually in a situation now where many traditional manual jobs will be done by robots automatically. Also, there will be increasing personalization. So I don't know, Miss Amy and Mr. Dermott may recognize this. This is actually a shop in Melbourne. You can walk into this shop, you can design your own custom-made bag and come back in 3 hours and they've made it for you. So modern technology makes it possible for you to have exactly what you want made to order when you want it. Can anybody tell me what these 3 things have in common? So there's a car, a small castle, and at the bottom right, that is actually a block of flats. They're building a block of flats. So what do they have in common? Well, all of them were printed. All of them were 3D printed. So that block of flats in the UK is actually being printed by a computer and a robot. They are building a whole block of flats using a robot that works 24/7, 365 days a year. I think very soon, 3D printers will be available at home to you, and you will start printing ordinary household objects that you need. Now, what that means is whoever makes the designs is the person who makes the money. The days of the old factory are perhaps over. And that means that many traditional jobs are going to disappear. So where are the careers of the future going to be? Where are the best jobs going to be for you? Well, They're going to be in what we call service IWAS. That is industries without smokestacks. In other words, they're going to be knowledge-driven jobs. They're going to be technology-driven jobs. They're not going to be driven by the old traditional heavyweight industry. So things like ready-made garments, very important in the current economy of Bangladesh, will become less important as we move forward, as people start developing and building things at home based upon the knowledge economy. And that means more people will be consuming business services as those services go through a digital transformation. So more and more things will be in the cloud and online. And that means if you understand business and you understand IT, there will be a huge number of new business opportunities, particularly in developing countries, indeed, specifically in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh has one of the fastest growing digital business sectors in the world. And there is a huge need in Bangladesh for highly qualified IT and business professionals. So for you as young Bangladeshis, the careers of the future are very much in IT and business. So why is education important to getting you there? Well, the first thing is, if you're highly educated, it's much less likely that a computer can do your job. So the higher your level of education, the more likely you are to be safe from a robot replacing you. Moreover, if you do higher education in Bangladesh, you are very much in a minority. So only half the Bangladeshi population complete SSC, just over a third complete HSC, but less than one in five Bangladeshi students pursues higher education at university level. Now, those figures are from BAMBIS, the Bangladesh Bureau of Educational Information and Statistics. Those are the current figures. So just by doing a degree, you put yourself immediately in the top fifth, the top 20% of the Bangladeshi population. And of course, that translates directly into money. So here I'm comparing on these graphs on the left, men, on the right, women. And you can see the people who leave schools, half the Bangladesh population that leave schools with no qualifications, their wage growth is basically almost nothing, right? Hardly growing at all. But if you look at the top, you can see the blue lines, students who have completed a bachelor's degree, or even better, a postgraduate degree, have really fast growing in their wages. So your salary increases much faster the more educated you are. So how does higher education give you the transferable skills that you need? Well, firstly, what are they? Well, actually, the World Economic Forum has told us. And what you can see here are a series of higher order thinking and social skills that we equip you with at Monash Foundation, Monash College Diploma, and Monash degree stages in your education. So let's put that in very simple terms. What are the key skills you need? Well, firstly, you need to learn how to research, find information, critically evaluate and judge that information, and make decisions. You then need to learn how to solve problems, how to plan how you're going to tackle things and deliver on time. You need to learn how to communicate and to negotiate with other people. You need to learn how to understand numbers. You need to learn how to think critically. You need to learn how to work with other people, how to lead them, how to inspire them. And every single Monash program taught here at UCB and at Monash Melbourne or Monash Malaysia is designed to give you all these skills. So how do those programs give you those skills? Well, you'll be familiar with the idea that obviously we're going to give you essays, presentations, class exercises, background reading, formulas and stats, because we'll do maths with you. We're going to give you group projects, assignments, tests and exams, and we're going to give you deadlines. So how does that translate into the skills you need? Look at the bottom left there. When we give you essays and presentations, what we're actually doing is we're teaching you how to communicate, how to present information, either orally, speaking to people, or in business writing. When we give you class exercises, we're actually teaching you technical skills. We're testing your knowledge of what you can do using the skills that we're teaching you. Background reading is actually about getting you to research, to find information, to understand and evaluate what information is valuable, what information is not. When we teach you maths, formula and statistics, we're teaching you the key number skills that you will need to go forward into business or into IT, and of course, how to apply those number skills in practical scenarios in both those fields. When we give you group projects, we're actually teaching you to work within teams, how to deal with other people. When we give you assignments, we're teaching you how to solve real world problems. When we give you tests and exams, we're teaching you how to think. We're showing you how to apply the knowledge that you've got in a creative way. And finally, when we give you those demanding deadlines, we're teaching you how to plan and deliver. So we're not just teaching you stuff, we're teaching you the key transferable skills that will give you the opportunity to have the best career you can possibly have. And you can actually start that journey with Monash, with us, right here in Dhaka. And you can go all the way through Monash Malaysia or Monash Melbourne to get a world-class degree from a top 50 global university. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the golden ticket. And there isn't another institution in the world that offers you that amazing opportunity to begin at foundation or MCD level and complete a full degree from a world top 50 university beginning here in Dhaka, Bangladesh. So I asked you at the beginning, could you see the world clearly? Hopefully now you can. More clearly, you can see what the opportunity is. Hopefully now you understand better what Industry 4.0 is, and more importantly, what it may mean for you as more and more businesses are requiring IT and integration to move what they do online. Hopefully now you also understand that's where the careers of the future will be, and that we can equip you through education with the key technical skills that you need. Now, I'm sure you've got lots of questions you want to ask me, Mr. Dermott, Miss Amy, but just make a note there of my email address. If there's anything we don't cover today, by all means, please drop me an email and I'll get back to you. So thanks for your attention. Now I'll hand back to Miss Sababa.
Thank you, Professor Hugh,
Right,
for your insight.
thank you.
Okay, Miss Emmy, uh, so what about your thoughts and perspective um, from global perspective actually and opportunities you think in business stream?
Yeah, that was such an interesting presentation. Thank you so much. I was making lots of notes. Some of this is very familiar to us that we see and we're teaching through our courses. I guess just building on what you said in those some of those key themes, from growing food in the cities to energy production to automation integration. AI is a big part of that, and that's what we're seeing in the business landscape. Dermot will probably touch on it as well. And we're really integrating that across our courses in what we teach, because that is where the change is happening as well. From when I did my business degree 20 years ago, it's very different landscape in that respect, and how AI is going to be used in jobs of the future. Similar to what you were saying, Professor Gill, in terms of changing the nature of roles and tasks. So those repetitive and tasks become a bit more automated, but there is still a huge role for the human brain and critical thinking and the ability to process information and make decision making, and also ensure that Monash is very committed in this space as well. So we have part of our strategic plan is addressing the challenges of the age. So we aim to reflect that across all of our courses. But I just want to thank you as well for the presentation, because it was really insightful. And I think it gave students a good taste of some of the concepts that we cover here at Monash Business School as well.
I would like to ask all the participants here, if you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat box, because at the end of the session, we will have one question answering sessions for all of you, and our respected speakers would hopefully answer them. Um, okay. Actually, I wanted to know from Miss Amy that specifically how Monash University actually helps the students to be ready for stepping into the practical world when they're taking into or going to business school, like in terms of
Absolutely.
career opportunities and everything. Yeah.
Sure. So we offer a lot of international opportunities, which can give you a lot of the personal skills you need in terms of building your confidence and adaptability and resilience. And then we have other programs which are more focused on giving you industry experience. So we have an industry experience program where we can place you in an organisation, and we do placements for students at both the undergraduate and graduate level of 20, 30 or 55 days. And a 20-day placement is the equivalent of 1 unit of study. We also have industry projects where we invite organisations in, and they have real life business case studies, they have real life business problems, and students work in small teams of about 5 to work through the problem, brainstorming possible solutions, and then presenting those to the organisation. So it's very practical based. It's designed to prepare students for real life business issues that they may encounter when they go out and work as graduates. Also, with our international opportunities, we've had some of our study tours where they've taken learnings and case studies from Australia. So we had our study tour that went to Korea, actually had worked with an organisation here that was looking at investing in the market, and they did some research for them and then reported their findings back when they returned to Australia. So those are just 3 examples that I can give you. But our staff are also very well connected to industry as well. We have a huge alumni base, and I think our size, the Monash Business School is bigger than some universities alone in Australia. So our size really does help in that respect, in being able to offer students a huge range of opportunities.
Do you have any presentations for us today, if you would like to present it to
Sure,
us?
you're happy I present
Yeah.
now, and then and Dermott will follow. I can just share my screen with you. Okay, I just want to check that everyone can see this.
Yes,
Yep.
that's visible. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I'll just close that one. I'd like to start by introducing myself again. My name is Amy Newman. I'm part of the student recruitment team here at Monash Business School, a very proud Monash Business School graduate, and I've worked in the higher education sector for close to 15 years now. I'm here to talk to you about the opportunities we offer at Monash Business School, but did want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land here on which our campus is based, of which I'm at one of our campuses today, and paying respects to all our elders past, present and future. So a bit more about what I'll cover today. I'm very mindful of the time that Dermott will also be presenting. So just a bit of an overview about Monash Business School, our campuses, the difference in the degrees that we offer at undergraduate level. I'll also touching on what I've mentioned in terms of industry experience and international opportunities, and a bit more about our graduate development service model. So the statistics are showing that this generation is going to have 7 careers in their lifetime. So my children now are primary school age, 5 and 3, and their careers are going to look very different than my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation. So doing a business degree is really important in terms of preparing you for a really changing career landscape and being able to move across different sectors as well. So a business degree is a great degree that can set you up to work across various sectors, no matter where your career takes you. And our courses are certainly globally recognised. So as I said, our size, we're Australia's largest business school. Monash Business School and the Faculty of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences are the largest faculties of the 10 here at Monash University, and we're very proud to be part of the Group of 8, which is Australia's leading universities. We're just outside that top 50 universities in the world, but we've previously held rankings within the top 50, and we still do hold it according to the QS rankings. We also have what's called here at Triple Crown accreditation. This is a very rigorous process in order to be accredited by the 3 bodies that you'll see on the screen there, the AACSB, Equus and Amber. and very few business schools in the world have it, so about 1%. So there's a lot of universities out there that teach business. There's a lot of different options, but we're proud to have this, as I said, placing us in the top 1%. And again, it's a really key indicator of the quality of the business school, because universities take rankings very seriously, and indicators like accreditation allow us to attract top quality teaching staff and researchers as well. So a bit more about our subject rankings across various areas of business. So we've just broken into the top 50 for marketing. We're very strong across a range of business areas. Again, being so big in size, there's a lot we can offer. 34 in the world for economics and econometrics. The very first course at Monash, when Monash started in the early 1960s, was actually the Bachelor of Economics. It's our first graduates from when we had very humble beginnings. So it just shows you our expertise in this space, and you'll see some of the other rankings mentioned there as well. So a bit more about in terms of graduate outcomes. This is really important, and we have really impressive statistics in this area, but we do a lot of focus on ensuring our graduates are ready for the employment market, which, as Professor Gill highlighted, is a really changing landscape. So a bit about our campuses. I'm down here today at our Peninsula campus. This is where we teach our Bachelor of Business Administration program. We offer about 6 different specialisations as part of that. We also have degrees at our Clayton campus. This is our largest campus that we offer, and a lot of our faculties do have a presence here. And then we also teach at our Caulfield campus, which is very accessible to the Melbourne CBD. Now, each of our campuses has its unique aspects, but across all of them, we have a range of services for students, including health and medical services, sporting facilities, restaurants, cafes, transportation between the campuses. At Peninsula and at Clayton, we also offer accommodation as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit more about how the degrees differ. So for some of you here, you might have a very clear pathway of what you want to study if you're looking at a business degree. So you know you want to do accounting, you know you want to do economics, you might be interested in marketing. But for some of you, you might be looking at a more broad-based degree, and either of these options are fine. So we have essentially 2 categories of courses: our broad-based and comprehensive degrees, and also specialist degrees as well. So this is how they differ. So specialist degrees, you start that area from day 1. You do more specialisation units, and you do less core units than you would do if you're doing a comprehensive degree. So as I said, they're quite good if you know exactly what you want to specialise in. But if you're not quite sure, you want to take your first year, try different units of study before deciding your specialisation, then our comprehensive courses are a good option to look at. So this is our course portfolio for our undergraduate courses. We're very excited to be offering the Bachelor of Digital Business from next year. Again, I think a reflection on our commitment to ensuring we're bringing students and graduates with the latest transformations in the business landscape. And this will be a course that will be offered with Monash, in conjunction with Monash Malaysia as well. So business administration at our Peninsula campus, a great community campus we have here. It has a lower maths requirement of all 3 of the comprehensive degrees, but still a range of specialisations. So this is a great course to look at for students who maybe aren't as strong at maths, or they're maybe not looking to apply maths in a business context. I'd recommend looking at this one. Our Bachelor of Business course is a step up essentially in the maths requirement. We have a new Sustainability and Responsible Management major next year, but still a range of majors that students can choose from as well. Our Bachelor of Commerce, a very popular option. This has the highest maths requirement compared to the other 2 that I just mentioned. And you'll find with this course that the majors tend to reflect that. So the majors draw on students having a higher maths knowledge, and they tend to be in areas more like actuarial studies, business analytics, econometrics, that do require a higher application of maths. Specialist degrees, as I said, we're really excited to be offering digital business to the specialist degree portfolio from next year. And a lot of these can also be combined with a broad-based degree as well to make a double degree. So just quickly on our double degrees, I won't go into too much details, but they're great value in that you can get 2 degrees in a shorter duration than if you were to do them single-handedly. And it's a similar workload as a single degree course. It's just the duration that's longer. Monash is very well known for double degrees, and there's a lot that we offer both within this business school and across other faculties as well. So just a snapshot, all of this is on our website of the double degrees that we offer. And popular combinations tend to be in commerce and economics, but also business and marketing as well. And this just shows you the suite outside of Monash Business School. Very popular is our Bachelor of Commerce with our Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Laws. Okay, I'm just going to touch on the entry requirements. They are all on our website, always has the most up-to-date information in relation to this. Please see these links, and I'll also put these links in the chat once Dermott gets underway. And important to note that we do have a maths requirement, as I mentioned, for our courses, and English, which is also standard across any of our Monash courses as well. So I won't touch on this too much because I've sort of covered it, Serene, in the question, but just a bit more about what we do in terms of preparing students for the graduate landscape. And as I said, engaging with industries is a big part of what we do here at Monash Business School as well. A bit more about the consulting projects, some examples you'll see there, very practical, real hands-on base. We've even had some of our students go on to work in those organisations that have come in with an industry project that they were seeking assistance with. And just some examples of our organisations where we place students as part of their industry experience. So we have over 300 different organisations on our books that students can go and do their placement with. So a bit more just about international opportunities. We offer our study abroad program, but we also offer shorter term study programs as well. So as I said, we've had the marketing study tour go to Korea last year. We've had study tours go to Germany. We had one go to Byron Bay last year looking at sustainable fashion. We have a range of destinations that students can apply to go to for a shorter term study experience. Okay, I'm just mindful of time and making sure to give enough time to Dermott and to questions. So if you do have any further questions, we do virtual consultations 4 days a week with our team. Please do book in if you would like to speak with us individually on your study options. You can also connect with us through our socials. And if you are coming out for any tours, do feel free to get in touch, and we are always glad to assist if we can with those. And I want to wish you all the best for the rest of the year, and thank you for your attention. And I'll pass it back to Serene and Professor Gill. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. It was beautifully explained. More questions, please feel free to write in the chat box. We will answer to all of you and with your queries. Okay, I'll come to Dermott now. So I believe that IT has been one of the most demanding subjects in Bangladesh and globally, I believe. And day by day, the demand has been increasing, like we see every day. So like, what's your thought on this in global perspective for the Bangladeshi students and for the international students? And if you could share your presentation as well with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the invitation to present today and to meet your students online. It's always wonderful to talk with future students and get them feeling a little bit more excited about the wonderful future that's ahead of them, because it really is a pivotal time in their education as well as their professional life. So I'm really happy and privileged to be a part of that. I'll just quickly share my screen before we start. But in answer to your question, Serene, what we look at Monash, our motto is Ancora Imparo, which means I'm always learning. And that's one of the things that we really try to push very much across all of our faculties and across all of our clubs and societies, and any opportunity for students to actually engage with us. We want them to continually learn and improve. And within the Faculty of IT, we want to take that one step further by using it to underscore the ethos that we base our faculty on, which is IT for social good. And that's the idea of taking these great ideas and taking your knowledge and experience and using it to help make the world a little bit better for the next person along. And that feeds in very much to what Professor Gill was saying before about how we're going to use machines and technology to continually improve living conditions for people and working conditions and so forth. So before I start properly, can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. So I will also, just like Amy, like to acknowledge the lands of the Kulin Nations, of where I am seated today. And I would also like to pay my respects to the Indigenous elders, past, present, and emerging. And just an important point on that, you probably wonder why we do this. This is an important thing, an important acknowledgement within Australia, and particularly within Monash. At Monash, we are very respectful of all people, regardless of where they come from. And that extends particularly to our First Nations peoples, the Indigenous Australians, whose land was taken from them hundreds of years ago. So we acknowledge them because it gives them a sense of presence, and it gives them a sense that we actually have a level of respect for them. And that plays into this idea as well, that Monash does support and embrace all cultures and diversities. So I'm here to talk about the future of IT in Australia. And I, just like Amy, I was very excited to hear Professor Gill talk. And I was very excited to hear about some of the ideas he was talking about, particularly with the Industry 4.0, which is incredibly important. And I will be touching on that in my presentation as well. Before I started, just with the Faculty of IT, I just want to give you a little bit of an introduction to us. We are the only dedicated Faculty of IT within the prestigious group of 8 universities. And what that means is we are fully dedicated. You have a full amount of finance from the faculty, which covers incredible research opportunities and research developments. It also means that all staff and students that you're going to interact with and engage with are IT, meaning it's going to be much more immersive for you. And that obviously has a lot to do with playing into our rankings, of which I've just got up on the screen. We are ranked #1 for computer science in Australia, #34 in the world for data science and AI, which is a really exciting and evolving field, and #48 for computer science in the world as well. I wanted to start with just a couple of quotes. Creativity is the power to connect the seemingly unconnected. This is an important quote because it's from a period of time when the Industrial Revolution was just finishing, the original one, at the turn of the 20th century. And then follow that up with, if you think of the internet has changed your life, think again. The Internet of Things is about to change it all over again. The Internet of Things refers to the interconnectivity. And this is how these two quotes are connected. We are seeking ways through IT to connect our world, whether that's like us connecting right now from the other side of the world with you in real time, which in my childhood was a dream. That was the future, to things that we were connecting with automated cars, automated Professor Gill's fridge that connects to the ordering of food that expires, for instance. The Internet of Things is expanding all of the time. In 2020, we had 24 billion devices, so 4 devices per single person on the planet that were connected to the internet. By 2030, that number is expected to double. And that's going to create exceptional opportunities for future students. In Australia alone, this is going to equate to something like 650,000 more tech workers being needed by 2030. And if you work that out, that's about 120,000 per year, which is a phenomenal amount of demand. And it's not possible to meet that. In that, the key areas of demand are going to be within areas of software, cybersecurity, and AI in particular. And you'll see a little quote there from the bottom, which I'll not read out in full, but it's from the president of the Australian Computer Society, which is basically reinforcing this idea that technology is so important to society and to the continuation of our businesses. It's so important that we have our staff trained in tech skills. And this obviously leads into the jobs of the future. Again, taking that number of 2030, which is it seems like such a long time away, but it's also such a short amount of time. By 2030, 95% of all businesses and all employees within Australia are going to be expected to have upskilled in technology. Their job is going to be impacted by technology. And that feeds into the skill set and learning and the knowledge. So going back to �𝐚𝐭'𝐬 with Monash. And how does that play into the jobs of the future? Well, the jobs of the future, as Amy said, you're expected to have 7 different careers throughout your lifetime. And jobs that don't exist now will be what you're settling into. And if you look at what I've got on the screen here, things like AI personality designers or holographic engineers, these are exciting opportunities that are entirely tech focused, but can be applied to a much wider setting. You can embrace multiple industries and engage across many different platforms within these positions. So these are the opportunities that you will have and that you will create. We want to help get you there. So at Monash, we are based at the Clayton campus. If you take your mind back to Amy's map, Clayton is the largest of our campuses, and we are actually based in part of Australia's technology hub. So Melbourne has been designated as one of 22 global innovation precincts, which also includes Toulouse and Silicon Valley. This means that being in the heart of all of that, having access to all of this industry and manufacturing, resources, engineering, it gives you that opportunity. And this is where being that dedicated to faculty gives you the benefits. For those of you who do want to have a look at that and see what that entails, we do have a wonderful site, some little videos and snippets, almost like a fly-through tour of the IT spaces, which I'd encourage you to have a look at. It's a fun way to have a look at what you can expect when you come to study with us, where you can learn, where you can study, where you can just have fun and hang out. We've also got a designated quiz called Find My Fit, which takes you through a series of multiple choice questions. No right or wrong answer, of course, but the idea is it helps you sort down or perhaps narrow your options to what might be the best option for you in the field of IT. So looking at pathways. So we've got a few different pathways. We've got your A-levels, we've got MUFI, and we've got our diploma. Your A-levels and your MUFI will take you directly into your first year. So it's your direct entry to first year, and you'll see the requirements on the screen for the 3 main courses that we offer at Monash. Your diploma will take you into your second year, and you can see your part 1 and part 2 academic hurdles on there as well. The most important thing is that with your MUFI or your foundation year, you must receive a score of 65% in your English as a minimum. Just like the business courses, we also have a mathematics requirement, which is important to note as well. And Amy did talk about the double degrees, and we do like to talk about double degrees at Monash because it does extend your opportunities. So we say opportunities a lot because this is really what your education gives you. It's your opportunity to set yourself up, to get ahead, and to be part of that top 20% of your Bangladesh colleagues. Within IT, our faculty offers a wide range across a wide range of different combinations. Some of the more popular ones include things like a Bachelor of IT, specializing in cybersecurity, and combining that with criminology or law, and using your IT skills to help catch cyber criminals. There's a lot of scope here for you to really make this work for you. Now, how are we going to teach you? I won't talk too much about this because we can talk about this if it comes up in the questions, but we want you to learn by doing. So our teaching is quite different. We're very much hands-on, and you will have access to a wide range of cutting-edge technology, as well as the academic support. We reduce lectures as much as we possibly can, and you will be involved and you will be expected to participate in group work when you're in classes. So the idea is that you work with your colleagues, with your classmates who are from all over the world. We are a very diverse faculty, which is something we're very proud of. And what that means is that you're exposed to different ways of thinking. You're also challenged, just like Professor Gill mentioned, you're challenged to think and to come up with different approaches and to defend your answers, or challenge yourself to think, maybe I got this wrong, or maybe I've got this right. How do I show this? So these are the ways in which you will learn. By the end of all of this, you will be expected to present your final projects and demonstrate to your teachers that you're able to get from point A to point B with full confidence, which means when you graduate, you have the skill set required for the industry, which means you're not going to be shocked or surprised when you go into the field because you actually do have the skills. We have a designated student engagement team whose sole purpose is there to support our student body, to help them to thrive. And we do that with a range of events, a range of social activities. We have an incredible array of clubs and societies, a lot of opportunities for you to be mentored or take part in employability workshops. Monash offers a further range of support, including Career Connect, which helps you with your resume writing or your interview skills, non-residential colleges and cultural exchange programs that, like Amy mentioned. All of this is available to you as a Monash student, and we sincerely hope that you will take advantage of as much of it as you can. So connecting you with industry, always a very important consideration. Throughout the Faculty of IT, we've had ongoing relationships with many different partners and companies across Melbourne and Australia. And you will get the opportunity to engage with them across a number of projects, such as your industry engagement or experience studio project, where you work on a solution for a business client. You might be involved with the MIghty program, where you work as part of a multidisciplinary team, so students from different faculties, where you're coming up with a real solution to a real life problem for a business. And this is a wonderful way for you to engage with and be in part of a cross-disciplinary team and take advantage of a different perspective. And it helps you with connecting with those important industry players. So that's just a little bit more on the industry experience project, which I've just flagged, but this one is worth 2 units, so 12 of your credit points, and definitely is worth looking into because you do get that great industry exposure. We've also got this wonderful thing at Monash called teams, and a team is very much taking your generation in particular, which are very entrepreneurial minded and very focused on creating advantages for the future. It gives you the chance to put together your ideas, develop them, and put them forward as a business case. So this is entirely extracurricular. You will have full support from the faculty if your team is successful in being approved. But what it does require you to do is to come up with a problem, and you develop this idea, which you can take and you can sell to the faculty. The faculty, if they approve, will give you funding. That funding will get you started. So you can start getting a couple of projects on the road. You can choose to expand this to all faculties if you wish, or you can choose to keep it within just the Faculty of IT. But the idea is that you are creating something that you can sell. And it's all about creating a recognition for your work. You have to go out and you have to market it. You have to advertise. You have to manage budgets, and you have to source sponsorships and funding. And this is a really important way for you to get this business skills. One of our teams right now, Monash Assistive Tech Team, for instance, 14 months old, they're very new. They've got 71 students from 8 different faculties. And their goal, from the name MAT Assistive Technology, is to bring technology to disadvantaged, neurodiverse, and under-resourced communities. So it's about making IT acceptable and sociable, or not sociable, available to those who may not necessarily have access to it. So again, taking this idea of IT for social good. Now I've got a student profile here. This is Nabila. She is a Bangladeshi student who I had the great pleasure of meeting whilst I visited Dhaka in August of last year. And Nabila is studying a Bachelor of Computer Science. She's specializing in advanced computer science, but she's also doing a major in genetics and genomics with the medicine faculty. And her idea is to develop technology bridging the communication gap for children with special needs. So again, this idea of using IT skills to create improvement and bettering your community. Nabila is actually one of 4 international leadership scholarships at Monash University. She's been highly successful with this her application. She applied for this scholarship, and that is a full fee paying scholarship, which means her fees are covered for the entirety of her undergraduate degree. An incredibly bright young woman, and she's got a great future ahead of her. And it's a real pleasure for me to introduce her to you in this setting. I'm talking about scholarships. We also offer a specific scholarship for Bangladeshi students in particular, which awards up to 20% off your tuition fees for the duration of your course. We do have some very strict criteria, and it is for academic merit based. So you do have to achieve quite high scores. I can share this presentation slide with the UCB team afterwards, and they're happy to share with you, but you can always reach out as well if you have other questions. We have some sources here, our undergrad course guide for 2025, if you scan the QR code on the left. And we have a TikTok account if you're interested in seeing more student perspectives, including Nabila's, where we have all of these videos and little information snippets available for you to have a look at. Definitely encourage you to have a look at that because they are fun. My details are on the screen. I really want to thank you for your attention today. It's been a real pleasure, as I said. Feel free to email me with any of your questions, but I really encourage you to check out our social media as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. That was a very, very clear presentation. Well, we have a question for Professor 𝐭'𝐬. So what are the challenges Bangladeshi students face while making the transitions to foreign programs, and how does UCB prepare students to cope up with these challenges?
Okay, so the transition to higher education normally gives most people two big shocks. The first shock is it's higher education, it's university, it's not school. The second shock is, of course, going somewhere completely different, like, for example, going to Melbourne or perhaps going over to Monash, Malaysia. So by coming to study here with us at UCB, you only face one of those shocks at a time, which is the step up initially to working at university level, either through MUFI or through the MCD program. We will help you transition from what you're used to doing at school in a very supportive environment where we focus a lot on small group teaching and individually looking after students to make sure that they can cope. We'll show you and teach you the skills that you need to survive at university. That means when you finally do transfer and go overseas, either to Monash in Melbourne or to Monash, Malaysia, all right, you'll have a little bit of a shock, but you'll actually be going with friends you already know, who are coming from the same programs you've been studying with us here in Gulshan, but also friends you've made already overseas who are also involved in the programs you're studying with us here in Bangladesh. And you'll be going fully equipped, knowing that you're going to be able to cope exactly at the right level with all the tasks that you're going to encounter in your degree when you're at Monash. Because obviously it's a seamless transition. We're teaching you exactly what you need to know to perform well in Monash programs. So when you arrive, you will have everything you need to start from day one performing at your absolute best. And if you have any problems at all, Monash has an amazing support network. You can always contact us, you'll have friends, but also you'll have people looking for you, waiting to reach out and help you when you arrive. And we can help you make that transition as well. And here's the final thing I'll say. Best bit is, through our sister organisation, Educo Pathways, you can make that transition for free. They won't charge you anything for the visa, for the travel advice, for filling in all the forms. All of that will be paid for by Monash, not by you. And again, that's a unique deal you won't be able to get anywhere else.
Thank you. We have another question, though this is not directly related to the subjects we are talking about, but I think the specific question is regarding the placement opportunities by Monash University or the internship support. If Amy, if you could answer that to us.
Yeah, sure. Thanks again, everyone, for all your questions and for listening today. So I'm having a look just at the chat and different opportunities for students engaged in the development of innovative technologies and projects, both at the graduates and schools level. So I'm assuming it's related to this question and anything else. I guess just building what I've mentioned in this space, a few other things that we have here at Monash is we have our Generator Hub, which is our big entrepreneurship area where students can get involved in all the activities that they do in that space. We also have our Fast Track program, which is designed for students who are looking again in the entrepreneurship area, and they receive credit as part of their course. It is a highly competitive program to get into, but essentially it means you go to having a startup business in 6 months, and it provides you all the skills that you need to know if you're looking to go into the startup space. Our clubs and societies are really connected with industry as well. I'm sure Dermott can speak on behalf of IT, but for us here at Monash Business School, we have 11 dedicated clubs. So I know, for instance, our marketing student society regularly do networking events where they have guest speakers from industry come in. Some of the students who were previously on the society now also come back to contribute. So there's all these ways at Monash that you can become involved in opportunities. We have our Monash volunteering initiative as well. We also have our Monash Jobs for Students program, Career Connect, as Dermott mentioned. We've got a careers fair coming up on various, we've run the Green Careers Fair, for instance, before as well. So there's all these opportunities to get involved in. Once you're here, we can support you in the journey in what you wish to become involved in.
Okay, thank you. Another question, it's by Ikra. I would like to inquire if your university offers any funding opportunities for students engaged in the development of innovative technologies and projects, both at the graduate and school levels. This is for IT department, I believe.
Yeah, it would be. It's a great question, and thank you very much for submitting it. This would refer very much to the Teams project that I referred to. If we go back to the example that I referred to the Monash Assistive Tech Team. This was actually started by two students. One was an IT student. He was doing his honors in computer science, and he had this idea of using assistive technology to help people who were neurodiverse. And he was best friends with a student who happened to be in the medicine, nursing, and health studies. So she was studying to be a nurse. And the two of them thought that this might be a great opportunity to take their ideas, which both of them had an interest in, and propose a student team. So they took that to the faculty and they run it past them, and they got approved because the faculty saw the benefit in this. They saw how this can actually help benefit the community, but how it can also be expanded and rolled out in a bigger forum. So the faculty provided funding for them to start a team, which was $80,000. With this, they were able to take it. They bought a van, so one of those like a transit van. They retrofitted it with technology, including a solar panel battery operated 3D printing machine. So again, going back to what Professor Gill talked about. And what they do is they take this out and they show it, they drive it to underprivileged or underserved communities, and they start getting young children who don't have access to technology involved and engaged. But with that as well, they've been able to use that, and they've been able to create extra interest in the project. And then they put out a call on the students' social channels to get for interest. And out of that, 71 students in total, so 69 extra, including those two, signed up to be a member of this team. So now they have a very active and vibrant community together, where they have a marketing person, they have a spokesperson, they have a business administrator, a fund manager. So they have someone who has a different skill set from 8 different faculties. So there's probably a business student in there who's doing something business related, but this is probably the prime example of how the students are supported and encouraged. As part of all of that, they also get the benefit of having ongoing access to our academics. So they're assigned an overseer, someone who helps drive them and keep them on the right track, but also acts as a mentor to the leadership team. And they get access to all of our research facilities, all of our equipment, and they can develop their ideas and take them out and really make them work. So that's probably the most prevalent example that I can think of.
Okay, we have another question for IT by Nazmina. So a student who is studying IT for the first year, can he or she change the specialization on their second year?
Thank you, Nazmina. That's a great question, and a very, very common question, if you believe it. The specialization is generally started for a Bachelor of Computer Science within second year. So we offer a specialization with computer science. We offer majors with the Bachelor of IT. You basically choose them when you start, but if you want to change it over, you have the flexibility to do so, provided you do so by the end of your first year. And that's important to note because there are certain modules or certain units that must be done in order to continue with that major or specialization. A lot of students actually do a combination. So they might, if they're coming into first year, for instance, they might choose a double major, or they might choose a specialization with a major. But you've also got the benefit of being able to choose minors. So you might do a major and a minor, or a specialization and a minor. You have that flexibility. You can, excuse me, which helps you to expand your skill set, or to really take two ideas together and make them work for you. Another benefit of the way that we teach at Monash is that you can actually take your free electives and you can actually apply them to units from another faculty. So if you don't want to do the double degree, for instance, if you would prefer just to do a few select units from, let's say, business, then you have 8 free electives in your undergraduate course in which you can take some business units, and they can be applied to support and enhance your IT degree. So you'll end up with your Bachelor of IT or Bachelor of Computer Science, you'll have your major or specialization, and then you can have a minor in, let's say, business if you choose 4 of those units, or you might choose just a whole range of electives to, if you have a wide range of interests. But yes.
Okay, one last question for Amy. So we get, is Amy there?
I am sorry, I was just having some water.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
No, go for it.
we have a lot of students in Bangladesh who plan to go abroad for pursuing MBA. So how can Monash provide these international students, especially Bangladeshis, extra or special opportunities for postgraduate degrees in business stream, specifically MBA, I would say, because it's a very common subject that they would want to go abroad for.
Sure. So our MBA program that we have here at Monash is globally recognised, and it's very highly ranked as well. It does require students have at least 5 years of work experience. So it's called the Global Executive MBA, also known as the GEMBA program. And there is a double degree that we offer with the Master of Business as well. So for those students, it's something really they consider once they've been out working. A lot of the students in the course are mid to senior level managers or aspiring to senior management level. But we also have other postgraduate programs if students don't have that 5 years experience. So our Master of Business course requires an undergraduate degree with a weighted average mark of 60%. However, it doesn't have the work experience requirement that the GEMBA program does. So for all of you still on the webinar now, what I'd recommend, or if you know someone, they can register for our webinars. So we've got one coming up in about 2 weeks' time, and they can learn more about the program. But for those of you, it's something to sort of pop at the back of your mind and consider about 10 to 20 years from now when you're looking to further your skills and you've got some experience in the business landscape as well.
And what about the Monash alumni? If they're graduating from business department undergrad program, and if they want to pursue at Monash, for example, they want to apply for MBA or any master's discipline. So do they get any extra benefit in terms of scholarships, or because tuition fee is a big factor for all the international students, especially Bangladeshi students?
Yes, so we do offer a range of scholarships, and I can put the link in the chat, but the Monash scholarships page has all the scholarships we offer, and each of them have different eligibility criteria. At the moment, we don't currently have a designated scholarship for our GEMBA program, but we do have an international merit scholarship, which is offered to students at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. So I will put the link in the chat, and you can see all of the scholarships. Do, as I said, keep in mind that they have specific criteria depending on the scholarship.
Okay.
Okay, Mr.
All
Barber,
right,
I'd just like to add to that before we go.
Yeah.
Amy gave obviously a very full answer. There are many different scholarships available to students, but let me just point out, if you come and study with us here in Dhaka, you can study obviously the foundation year, but you can also study the first year of your Monash degree. And if you choose to do that through the MCD program with us, looking at either business or IT, you can make a saving of approximately 30 lakh on what it would cost you to study in Melbourne. Then when you leave us and you go direct into your second year at Melbourne, Monash will give you a 10,000 Australian dollar, that's right, $10,000 discount on your fees for that second year. So studying with us as well with Muffy, when you transfer to Monash Melbourne, you will qualify for a $10,000 reduction in your fees. So that's worth thinking about. Some very big savings if you study with us here at 𝐿𝐴𝐻.
Okay, I think we have to wrap this up. And due to shortage of time, we are not being able to attend all the questions. We have a lot of questions out there, but we would like to answer them personally, individually to each one of you. So I would like to ask any last words from you people to all our students and all the participants who are listening to you. Dermott, if it comes from you first.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and listen to us today. It's, as I said before, it's a real privilege to get to meet you, whether it's remotely or in person. And I would really like to wish you every success with the rest of your studies. And hopefully we can welcome you to Monash in Australia if you choose to come with us. If not, I'm still excited for your future, and I do wish you all of the best.
Thank you. Amy?
Likewise, thank you everyone for your time this afternoon, and please do reach out via a virtual consultation if you have any questions about your individual study options, and you can also connect with us through our Discover Monash platform and website as well. But wishing you all the best for the rest of the year, and thank you to Professor Gill and also Serene, who've helped facilitate this webinar today with Dermott and myself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Professor Hugh?
Okay, thank you. Well, let me just thank everybody who's attended this webinar. Let me also especially thank Mr. Dermott and Miss Amy for giving us their valuable time and knowledge. But let me say to all of you students, this is a big decision, right? It's a very big decision. It's an important decision, and we are here to help you make the best decision. Even if you choose not to study with UCB, we are more than happy to advise you. And remember, everything we've talked about today is about you and how education can change and transform your life. It's the most valuable thing you can ever acquire, because once you have it, it's here forever. You've seen how the world is going to change. Business and IT are going to fuse together in amazing new ways to make an amazing new world. I hope you'll be part of that revolution and that you'll choose the Monash pathway to get yourself there. Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you so much for taking out the time for us, for Universal College Bangladesh and all the participants out there. And the next webinar we would conduct on engineering, I believe, and I would request all of you to keep an eye on our social media pages. Till then, everyone, take care, and thank you so much again for your time and valuable insights. Bye-bye.
Thank you.